that is much different to what social service is. And when it comes to social action, as I said, we've not been very forward in this thing. Yes, it comes in some advocacy programs or in some NGOs or something. But a major difference can be made when we are in a situation where we can influence the system by our very presence and the values with which we stand there. The administrative service of our country is one strong area where, by our presence and by our value system, we can influence the system and the way it works. And so you have the IAS officers, you have the IPS officers, you have the defense forces, you have the financial services, you have many such places. By just being the right type of person in these areas, we will be able to influence the whole thing. We often think that it is the government that makes the rules and regulations, and they run the country. But if you realize, governments come and governments go. It is the administrative officers that do a lot of the groundwork, and they write a lot of things, and the government approves what they do, which actually reaches out to the people. And these are the people who often are not seen, but they are the brains of the country that actually give the right type of ideas. So when you have the right people at this realm, at this place, at this platform, who are giving the right ideas for the growth of the country, you find the country will progress. The politicians have their part to play, the governments have their part to play, but these civil servants who actually are the brains of the country really make the difference. Why do Christians not really get into so many of these things, so many of these jobs? It's generally because we have this idea that all of them are corrupt. If I get into it, I'll also be corrupt. Or it's the fear that maybe because of our faith values, we will not be accepted. Or it's just that we cannot do anything. Another thing is, how do we get into it? We do not really know what exams to give. Or it's just maybe these exams are so difficult, they sound only UPSC, MPSC, all these exams sound only so difficult that, okay, let's hold back and let's not try it. The question is why we should be in civil society. A few months ago, I was watching this TED show. I forgot the name of this person who was speaking, and his topic is how great leaders inspire action. And he talks of three concentric circles. There's an outer concentric circle, which is what we do. The inner circle is how we do, and the innermost circle is why we do. If you see the outermost circle is what we do, we all know what we are doing. Right now, I know what I'm doing is I'm talking to you about.
हरामी बच्चे बोलते सर, ऊपर भी विक बनते नीचे भी विक बनते. आई एम सॉरी सर, प्लीज सर. नहीं सर, ये पेरेंट टीचर मीटिंग में नकली बाप लेके आए. अरे
Okay. That was a little bit of entertainment for us if you were a little bored about what I was telling you. But in this, he talks of these three different circles. The outer one is what we do. So as I told you, I know what I'm doing. How I'm doing it presently, I know I'm also using social media. I'm using WebEx to explain it to you. Why I am doing it is the crux where most people do not really know why they are doing something. For some, they will have a fair idea, but to enter into the deeper area of why we do it is the most crucial. Even in civil service, many of the officers know what they are doing. They know how they're doing it. But the why may be wrong. For some, it may be to make money. For some, it may be to be transferred from one place to another. For another, it may be just that I can gain power. But the why I am doing it must stem from this fact that I am doing it because I want to serve the country and to do good to my fellow citizens. This should be the why. And for us Christians, that why comes from the fact of our baptism and the very fact that we are Christ people. We have it in us to build the kingdom of God. By nature it comes to us, and that's what I told you. We are respected for the honesty, the truthfulness, the kindness, the patience, the compassion, all these values that we have. People respect that, and they feel, yes, these are people who can lead the place. Unfortunately, we are sometimes too timid and too shy to let these values shine out, and so we remain with these values, and so we don't let them come out. In fact, if Jesus also had the same idea, he would never have been able to start or build his kingdom. He chose 12 men who, by today's standards, no one would even look at or no one would even take. But yet, from those 12, we know what a large movement has occurred. And so, my dear friends, by nature, we carry the Spirit of Christ. By nature, we will, these values, when we work in civil society, we take these values with us and they come naturally. Our tendency is to do good, and so it comes. So most of our actions are always to see to the well-being of others. If we take the same values into civil society, it makes a huge difference in how we deal with people. We have quite a number of people from the Catholic community or the Christian community who are contributing. And just to name some of them, we have Arvind Pinto, who's in the Indian Revenue Service. Then we have Jai Kumar, Mr. Jai Kumar, who's Additional Commissioner of Police in Mumbai. We've had Mr. Julio Ribeiro, who was a retired Indian police from the Indian Police Service. We have Mr. Johnny Joseph, who's an IAS officer. We have Mervyn Alexander from the Indian Postal Service. We have, if you know, till recently, we had the Supreme Court judge, Mr. Joseph, who was also at that realm. Each of these people, from the very value system that they have carried, they have been influencing the whole system. And so today, I would encourage many of you to take on these jobs because the church needs you, the society needs you, and the nation needs you because of the values that you carry. Be the good person and take these values into the building of this nation. I leave you with just this one thought. Ask yourself, what is God calling you to do? And I leave you with two different areas. One is your vocation and your profession. When I speak of vocation, what is God calling you? What way of life is God calling you to? For a Christian, for a Catholic, it would be whether it's a married way of life, whether it's a religious way of life, whether it's a single way of life. It makes a very big difference. And what is your profession calling you to? How can you serve society in a deeper way? If you feel the call to enter into civil services, find the way, because that's the best way you can serve society today. It's one of the best. And if you have that, go ahead and take it. Don't hesitate. You have the grace of Christ with you. The very reason we can do it is because we have the grace of Christ with you. And so I wish all of you the very best. If you are looking for something like this way, God be with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Father Ivan. It's a nice message that you have shared with us, and we hope everyone will look at finding out both their choice of vocation and their choice of profession. Thank you so much. I now invite Father Anthony J. Fernandez, Executive Secretary of the CCBI Laity Commission, to speak to our participants on this evening's program. Father Anthony has also been very closely associated with the youth for many years, first as an animator, then as a priest. He was Diocesan Youth Director in Mumbai. Father Anthony also has a lot of work experience background, several years both in India and in the Gulf, before he decided to take up, as Father Ivan just said, no, a vocation to the priesthood. So I think both of them bring a lot of experience of being committed laypersons, committed young people in their work. Father Anthony worked in the purchase department of a large 5-star hotel in Dubai before, of course, hearing the call and becoming a priest. It's my privilege to welcome Father Anthony J. Fernandez of the CCBI Laity Commission. They've been supporting this program and asking a number of people to join in. Father Anthony, over to you.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank Bombay Catholic Sabha. Great initiative. And this is the need of the hour. You know, the Vatican Council made it very clear that priests and religious cannot be in the workplace. After all these centuries, this realization is very important, because earlier the laity was totally discounted. It was felt as if to say the church was made up of the priests and religious. And so the Vatican Council too lay emphasis that the church, or the church understood pre-Vatican, the priests and religious cannot enter into the workplace where 90% of the people or more than that work in the secular workplace. And therefore, it is important that lay people, right, are given that, incitement and encouragement to be a Christian in the workplace. And what better workplace than the government sector? In 2013, Pope Francis said, it's important for Christians to be active in politics. One of the first popes who said that in the context of decision making that will be good for the entire country. So he's saying if Christians take part in politics and be active, right, they can help in making the right decisions, which will help all the citizens. They will be fair, they will be just. That was the idea, that was the mind of Pope Francis. In 2007, when I entered the youth center, we were planning something very big, a mega event for the youth. So it materialized in 2009. We had about 5,000 youth at Matunga's, Don Bosco's. And for that, I met personally Mr. Julio Ribeiro to invite him to be the chief guest. I had a 2 hours meeting with him. It was supposed to be just an invitation call. In the 2 hours, Mr. Julio Ribeiro told me, saying, Father, if you can just inspire youth to enter into government services. He's saying in the 50s, there was around 3% in the armed forces and in the IAS and all who were Christian. And he's saying today it is less than 1%. Less than 1%. And he's saying it's a crying shame. It's a crying shame that we are not doing enough to push our youth into taking up government jobs, IAS, and so on. I will propose here 3 challenges that we have to face when working in the government. The first is the loneliness. Why loneliness? Being a minority, you could sometimes be the only one among the rest. I remember a custom officer telling me, he's saying, when I was working in the place for 2 years, it was the worst in my life. I was the only person, my faith, and the others, there were another 2 of them were Hindus who were as much very good like him, very honest and so on. So he's saying, but I was feeling totally lost because they were trying to find fault in me because I wanted to bring in honesty. And the 2 Hindu officers who were with me were very strong with me. But he's saying, I felt there, being an only Christian, I was feeling lost at times. So you can feel lonely because we're a very small minority. Tomorrow you will be in army regiment and you might be the only Christian, right? So the loneliness is a big challenge for Christians in India. That's the first challenge. But there are many of them who have, kind of taken that as a challenge and they've overcome it. When I went to Nagaland, they were telling me how sometimes it is so difficult, for a Christian, because it's very difficult for them to enter into it. Because they say, why can't we guard? And then they realized that many of them were not into that regiment. And, so they were quoting how loneliness can be a terrible factor and one should be able to face it. The second challenge is balance between being boss and shepherd. It is a gift that many Christians in the workplace take shepherding as an important value to their leadership. You see, you can be a boss or a shepherd. The shepherd is Jesus's way. Now, it is a fact that a government servant today, may, all over the world, think it is power. And so the term boss, like I can order people around. And so for a Christian to enter into government service, to keep this in mind, we have wonderful example. Take example of Abdul Kalam, a government great, rose to be the president of India. And he was like a shepherd in terms of how he connected with the employees. In the Rashtrapati Bhavan, there were a lot of insights, how he connected with the simple people. Look at J.R.D. Tata, of course, a private entrepreneur. When he went to Jamshedpur, right, it was just a 1 hour meeting. And he made it 6 hours because the poor, simple workers wanted to meet him and wanted to shake his hand. You got it? As a boss, I wouldn't do it. So in a government service that you are in, a Christian must remember that he has to be a shepherd. That he has to, be shepherd-like in every aspect of the term. The third important thing is, what is my ultimate goal? What is my ultimate goal in life? Our ultimate goal in life is eternal work, is to build God's kingdom. So how do you work with accountability and stewardship in your work? How do we do that? If I'm working for the government, I believe my ultimate goal is doing God's will. So when I do God's will, right, therefore I must be guided. I must be guided. I remember one of the judges of the High Court, a Catholic, was sharing with me. He's saying, Father, I'm blessed to have a wonderful spiritual director. And he has been my spiritual director for nearly about 30 years, this priest. And when I share with him, sometimes I have to make choices. And he helps me to make the right choices. Where my goal as being a judge and my goal as being a Christian and doing God's will, there is a kind of a fairness in it. And therefore, I ask all those who are entering into government services, times are terrible all over the world, all over the world. We have seen all kinds of things happening in all the governments. You talk of US, you talk everywhere. And therefore, the ultimate goal for a Christian basically is to have a soul that is free from any guilt. And therefore, if you're guided by someone, anyone, it can be even a lay person who is close to God who can guide you. So keep these 3 points, the loneliness, the balance between being boss and shepherd, and the ultimate goal. In the youth center in Delhi, right from, we had a wonderful youth director then, and he had about 20 youth from all over India who were training youth for IAS exam, right? And the youth used to stay in Delhi. They had, to pay something very minor, not much in terms of the boarding and lodging expenses. And together, all the 20 of them were able to kind of prepare themselves, sharing questions, supporting one another, and so on. I remember working with Father Franklin when he was a national youth director, and he was sharing with me how happy he was in seeing the Catholic youth being trained for the IAS exams. So I think this can be happening in every diocese. In the Diocese of Bombay, also Nirmala Niketan, when I was there 3 years back also, they told, Father, we are still having classes, and it's free classes. In my parish, I've got 2 of them. One of them are going to appearing for the IAS exam, right? And I encourage that. If there is any hindrance in terms of money, in terms of paying for the classes, I said, don't worry. I think we as parish priests, all the churches of India must groom, must actually, just as you are seeking the vocation to the priesthood, the time has come today for India, keeping in mind what Julio Ribeiro said. It was 3% then in 1950, and there was communal peace to a large extent, at least not towards the Christian community. And today, after so many years, if it's just less than 1%, it's high time today that every parish priest in the country will look out in their parish for young people who have got the potential to take up government services, and also to accompany them, not just encourage them, to accompany them, to connect them to the right people who will guide them, who will train them, prepare them. If there is any monetary expenses, to bear with it. He said he had a lot of expense in terms of the exams here, there during the lockdown. And so our support is there for you. I once again thank the Bombay Catholic Sabha. Today, there are people also from all over India. And whatever the report that we get, I request Mr. Adrian Rosario. He helps us in the National Laity Commission. So if you could get this information, we will pass it on to all the young people in the Diocese of India. My blessings and prayers that not only this session, but whatever we aim to get young people into government services bear fruit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Father Anthony. That was a nice message coming from you, and I hope it will help us to find ways to support our young people in their choice of career. Over now to Mr. Ryan Pinto. It's my honor and privilege to introduce someone who's been at the forefront of a lot of programs organized and hosted by the Bombay Catholic Sabha over the last 3 to 4 years, as we have been pushing this idea of young people first becoming aware of civil services, and then of course the next question is where do they go? So at the risk of saying I point to Ryan Pinto, let me say Ryan Pinto has completed his MA in history, then is now currently the proprietor of Knowledge Valley, which conducts training for IAS, IFS, IPS, and a lot of government exams since 2015. He has taught in a number of reputed institutes. Many students have, under his guidance, cleared exams in the civil services. Last year, we had Satyajit Yadav, who cleared. Ryan does training for a number of government exams. I'll mention just a few. He will tell you much more. He's ready and waiting to speak. He has been covering training for exams in the banking sector, combined defense services, the railways, the intelligence bureau. Ryan does a lot of career counseling and career guidance. And without further ado, let me welcome Mr. Ryan Pinto of Knowledge Valley. We are waiting to hear from you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Adrian. I would like to thank Bombay Catholic Sabha to give me this opportunity to speak to the students and to all those who are interested to know about the government exams. I would like to specially thank the President of Bombay Catholic Sabha, Advocate Rafael D'Souza, Vice President Bento Lobo. We have Lawrence Fernandez, both the Vice Presidents of Bombay Catholic Sabha, and the whole team of Bombay Catholic Sabha that is engaged with the youth. We have a youth training team. The Bombay Catholic Sabha has a youth training team who is doing a lot of good work, and they also are going to now have a talent hunt competition in the coming weeks. I would also like to thank Father Ivan and Father Anthony, who have given such a important message that why we should be joining the civil services. I'm going to tell you how we can join the civil services in the next 45 minutes. So you all will come to know how we can join the civil services. ठीक है, थोड़ा मैं हिंदी और इंग्लिश थोड़ा सा मिक्स करूंगा because थोड़ा हिंदी क्राउड भी है from North India. We know there are some people, some students who are also going to be listening. So थोड़ा मैं हिंदी और इंग्लिश मिक्स करके बोलूंगा तो थोड़ा समझने की कोशिश करो. So we have a very nice message given by Father Anthony and Father Ivan D'Souza on why to join the civil services. The reason is, if you want to pass the civil services exam, the why part is very, very important. Civil services exam, as I will be telling you, I will be dividing the civil services exam into 4. Military, I will be talking to you about the military. मैं आपको military के बारे में बताऊंगा. आपको सिविल सर्विसेज के बारे में बताऊंगा, दैट इज आईएएस, आईएफएस, आईपीएस. बैंकिंग एग्जाम्स के बारे में बताऊंगा और मिसलेनियस जिसमें रेलवे सर्विसेज भी है. आई हैव माय स्टूडेंट Pratyush Thomas who is with me. Currently he is a manager at Canara Bank. He has passed the IBPS exam, interbanking personal services, and he is currently he had passed it in 2017. Currently he is a manager in Canara Bank. Earlier it was Syndicate Bank, now it has merged with Canara Bank, and now he is also a loan officer in the Vasai branch of Mumbai. So Pratyush will also be talking to you, and he will be giving you an insight on banking exams. Okay, welcome Pratyush. Okay, Pratyush, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'll be starting a presentation. Just a second. Just a minute.
Brian, we are seeing the desktop.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Now it's visible.
So, okay. So as I have told you, Father Ivan and Father Anthony have already told you about why to join the civil services, what you will be doing in the civil services, and the other questions will be answered once you pass these exams. My focus is how to crack the civil services exam. जब मैं सिविल सर्विसेज की बात करता हूं तो कौन से एग्जाम्स की मैं बात कर रहा हूं? मैं बैंकिंग की बात कर रहा हूं, सिविल सर्विसेज जैसे आईएएस, आईएफएस, आईपीएस की बात कर रहा हूं, मिलिट्री और मिसलेनियस सर्विसेज की बात कर रहा हूं. First, to give you a hint or give you a insight on exactly why today we are conducting these webinar on civil services. क्यों हम ये कर रहे हैं, सिविल सर्विसेज का वेबिनार क्यों कर रहे हैं, और क्यों बहुत सारे लोगों ने ये सिविल सर्विसेज के वेबिनार को ज्वाइन किया हुआ है? The most important reason is COVID-19. The COVID-19 has given us an insight what we can expect in the future. When we think about government jobs, जब हम कभी भी jobs के बारे में सोचते हैं, whenever we think about jobs, we keep some things in mind. What are those things that you should keep in mind when you're thinking about jobs? So first, I will be giving you a brief on why we are thinking about government jobs. The first important thing is security. You will be seeing currently during the time of COVID-19, many people lost job se nikal diya. Many people are not getting jobs, and because of this, there is a lot of skepticism. There is a lot of fear on what job we should go for. Should we go for a private sector job? Should we go for a government sector job? Good thing about a government sector job is it gives you security. In government sector, one thing you must remember, it is governed by the Constitution Article 311, which it is very difficult to remove a government servant once you are inside the government. तो पहला चीज जो जब हम जॉब के बारे में सोचते हैं वो है security. Just imagine after 20 years, if such thing happens again, अगर 20 साल बाद जो भी आप जॉब कर रहे हो, पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, कोई जॉब आप ज्वाइन कर लेते हो, 20 साल बाद सेम चीज कुछ हो जाता है. वी डू नॉट नो, एवरी 10-20 इयर्स कुछ ना कुछ होता है. कभी रिसेशन हो गया, 2008 में हमने देखा था देयर वाज रिसेशन, 2019 में देयर वाज दिस कोविड-19. हर 10 साल में, 10-15 साल में कभी ना कुछ होता रहता है. नाउ यू हैव टू टेक इनटू कंसिडरेशन नाउ. अब जब तुम पढ़ाई कर रहे हो या फिर डिसाइड कर रहे हो जॉब क्या करना है, तुम्हें अब सोचना है कि कौन सा जॉब करना है. बहुत सारे लोग गल्फ में जो काम कर रहे थे, उन्हें अपना जॉब छोड़ के आना पड़ा. गल्फ में हो या कोई भी, बहुत सारे यूरोपियन कंट्रीज हो या फिर यूएस हो, या बहुत सारे कंट्रीज से बाहर आ गए. The reason is they did not plan what they were doing. So what I would want from you is, forget about the government jobs, at least plan what you will be doing in the future. So first is security. Second thing, when you think about government jobs, is salary. Or when you think about any job, is salary. In a private sector, today if you are going to join a private sector, you can ask your graduate friends, जिसने भी graduation खत्म किया है, some of you might be also knowing, you will not get a salary more than 15 to 20,000. You can see it in the markets. But in case of government jobs, the minimum salary is 45,000. Currently, there was a notification आया था on office assistant. Office assistant एक lowest position का job होता है. वहां पर salary था 26 to 30,000. I had many engineering students. They came and told me, sir, can I apply for this job? I said, थोड़ा सा पढ़ाई करो अच्छे पोजीशन के जॉब्स मिलेंगे गवर्नमेंट में. ऑफिस असिस्टेंट बनने की जरूरत नहीं है, but yes, थोड़ा पढ़ाई करने की जरूरत है. You'll have to study. There are exams for it. But just imagine 26 to 30,000 in as an office assistant, and the people who are finishing their graduation, 12,000, 15,000 salary है private sector में. So you can compare. You can also see the notification in Google. RBI office assistant का आया था, उसके पहले MTS आया था, that is multitasking ऑफिसर का. तो ये तुम बाद में नोटिफिकेशन वगैरह देख सकते हो. ठीक है. उसके बाद में सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स में, वो है पावर. द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग दैट वी understand when we talk about government jobs is it gives us lot of power. That is why you have to many people try for government jobs just because it is having power. Imagine करो अपने तुम लोग ने अपने घर के आसपास, if you can imagine people around you, someone is a government servant, another person is a private sector person, whom or who gets more respect, or whose ideas or decisions are listened to. It is a person who is having a government job. जब हम किसी इंस्पेक्टर की बात करते हैं, पुलिस इंस्पेक्टर हो गया या फिर सेल्स टैक्स इंस्पेक्टर, रेवेन्यू इंस्पेक्टर, तो हमें कितना अच्छा लगता है. प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हम क्यों नहीं ये बन सकते हैं? Why can't we go for it? So that is the third thing, power. And yes, power to help people in every field. Father Ivan and Father Anthony both said the same thing. Their point was that you should have these values, and and then we complained that the people who are there in the government sector are corrupt and are bad and are not doing their job properly. Why can't we get inside when we have opportunities? Yes, the biggest hurdle is information. तो जो ये इंफॉर्मेशन का जो गैप है वो हम आज कवर करने के लिए आए हैं. ठीक है. सो इंफॉर्मेशन जो है वो हम आप लोगों को देने वाले हैं. नेक्स्ट हाफ एन आवर यू विल हैव एन आइडिया अबाउट द गवर्नमेंट जॉब. एंड देन फाइनली प्रेस्टीज. When we talk about prestige, you must first remember that thing comes to your mind is the military or the armed forces. In the military, or when we talk about military, so I'm dividing the government jobs into 4. Military services, next Pratesh will be talking about banking, then I will be talking about civil services, and finally miscellaneous. First मैं military services की बात करूंगा. Many of you have finished your graduation, some of them are in graduation, undergraduates. हम मिलिट्री के बारे में क्यों नहीं सोचते? जब हम हमारे मिलिट्री ऑफिशियल्स की बात करते हैं, जब हमारे आर्मी वगैरह की बात करते हैं, तो हम उस पर बहुत गर्व करते हैं. वी फील वेरी प्राउड दैट वी हैव एन इंडियन आर्मी, नेवी, एयरफोर्स. बट when we have to think about joining it, no one comes forward. The salary, I will give you the salary for the military services. If you join the Central Armed Police Force as an assistant commandant, the start salary is 80,000. But we would prefer a private sector job, which is 12,000. CDS, Combined Defense Services, in Indian Army, Navy, Air Force, start salary 65 to 70,000. But we would prefer 12,000 to 15,000. That is how our mindset works. We do not know the exact information. We don't even attempt. We don't even try. Google में भी हम ढूंढने की कोशिश नहीं करते. YouTube है. Type in YouTube. Type in Google. Life of an armed personnel, life of a Navy, life of an Air Force. But we will not do. We will be happy with the private sector job. When we talk about military services, when we talk about armed forces, 2 you have to remember. One is Central Armed Police Force. In this, CISF, CRPF, BSF, ITBP, SSB in front of you. This is called as the Central Armed Police Force. This is also called as the paramilitary forces. तुम लोग सोचते रहोगे ये क्या है? ये this comes under the of Home Affairs. ये Ministry of Home Affairs के अंदर आता है. CISF, Central Industrial Security Force. You must have seen people with army clothes in airports and metro. They are actually CISF people. They are not the army. Okay. Then we have CRPF, BSF, ITBP, etc., SSB. To know more about these, what we see in this half an hour, I will not be able to cover each of your doubts or to clear your questions about the government exams. I will have my staff or my help, who's Prince and Royson. They are going to put in the chats a Google form. You can put your feedback, you can put your name, you can put your number. We'll give you a call, and even I will be giving you my number. You can call me, and you can WhatsApp me. So please WhatsApp me, and you can get all the details in detail. But for now, you can just go to, see the presentation and try to get as much as information as possible. So the Google form is put in the chat box. Just fill that. But yes, it will be only for doubt solving. It will not be, the whole thing will not be explained again. Secondly, so Central Armed Police Force, you have two exams, that is Assistant Commandant and Sub-Inspector. Sub-Inspector 45,000 salary, Assistant Commandant 80,000 salary. The age limit is 26 years. So you can become a CA after 26. You can become an MBA after 26. You can do anything after 26, but not join the army after 26. That is a paramilitary. So you should, whoever is below age, think, work, and go ahead and achieve your dreams. This is the Civil Combined Defense Services. That is the CDS. You can join the Army, Navy, and Air Force. Even now, before the age of 25, you can join these services: Army, Navy, and Air Force. Many people will be thinking, sir, to join these exams, should we be a science graduate or a arts graduate or commerce graduate? Any field, you can join the Army, Navy, and Air Force. You should be below 25 years. About when the notification comes, how to fill the form and all that, we can see after. You can contact us, and we have made a group in that we will be putting. So I have spoken to you about the CAPF, Central Armed Police Force. You can become Assistant Commandant. I've told you about the Combined Defense Services, that is the military. Okay, and for anyone who is NCC, जिसने भी NCC किया हुआ है और C certificate है, उनके लिए direct entry है. Technical, whoever is in the technical, they have got direct entry. No details, we'll be seeing that later, but just giving you an overview for now. Okay, so any field you can get inside the Army, Navy, Air Force at the age of 25, but you need to be a graduate. For both CAPF as well as the CDS, you need to be a graduate. There are other exams also, that is the IAS, IFS, IPS. So we'll be discussing about that later. Before I go ahead with the other exams, I would like to introduce Pratyesh Thomas, who will be giving you a brief on banking exams. So till now, what we have done is we have spoken to you about the benefits of joining the government jobs, that is the salary and the power and the prestige, etc. I spoke to you about the military services, that is CAPF and the Combined Defense Services. Remember, most of the exams paper pattern is the same. So paper pattern I will be telling you just after Pratyesh Thomas tells you about the banking exams. Yes, Pratyesh, you can go ahead.
Hi everyone, and a wonderful good evening to all of you all. The first thing what I want to explain about banking exams are like what are the various banking exams for government banks. Okay, mainly you have SBI and IBPS. So SBI has a set of exams, SBI PO and SBI clerical, which they conduct it separately. So you have to keep on checking when is the notification coming out. And same way for IBPS, that is for remaining all the nationalized banks. They have a combined exam through which they select personnel for their banks. Now the pattern is for both these exams. For almost all the banking exams is very similar. You have the prelims, mains, and finally the interview. Again, the syllabus for prelims, we have 3 papers which you can see on the screen. That is maths, English, and reasoning. Again, maths and English, reasoning, these are not something like which you need to learn something great or something. These are very basic maths, like 8th standard, 9th standard level maths. That is the only thing you could require. And English also, we are very much lucky enough that especially the people in Bombay and all, they're like very comfortable in the English language. So for them, I would say that you will score very good marks. You don't have to do much preparation. Also, the day-to-day English which you speak, that's the only thing required over there. Just a little bit of practice. Coming to the mains, again we have the same three papers: maths, reasoning, and English. And now reasoning is just basic questions which we have seen related to like solving something, small puzzles, relationships, all those simple, very simple things to crack. Just a little bit of efforts. Now the additional two topics which we're having is like banking awareness and current affairs. Banking awareness is something which is related to your day-to-day knowledge of what is happening in the banking field. Like they might ask you a question like, which was the recent banks which were merged, or something like which bank recently introduced a new feature in net banking, or something which is very common. If you read current affairs, you can very much easily get hold of that subject. And then finally, current affairs. Current affairs is an important field. Like in the mains of the banking exam, you need to know current affairs, and in a way you can crack banking awareness also with the help of current affairs. Now coming to the interview portion, they won't be asking you any of this bonds or maths, English, reasoning, because they already know you have reached the stage of interview because you have cracked it. So over there, they want a general aptitude of the person, how that person can cope when you're sitting in the bank, or at least how that person will be able to answer the questions. Okay, in that case, they will be very much wanting to know what is your knowledge about current affairs, or how much you know about your surroundings. They might even ask you a question related to history, because they don't want a person to sit over there who doesn't know anything. So they might ask a question related to your history. They might ask a question related to geography, like what is the climate, something related to climate, or something related to something, some social subjects, which are very much, which we can know from the current affairs itself. So this is the pattern of all the government related banking exams. And that's it. And my life in bank, second thing, the life in bank is not as you think it is. Like there is a feeling that it will be very easy. No, let me be very honest, it's not very easy as such, but it is very much compared to a private bank. What while I'm sitting in a nationalized bank, the whole scenario is different. While I have my friends in private bank, the only thing in a life is targets, complete your targets. That's it. You don't care for the people, you don't care for your customers, nothing. You just fulfill your targets. You just make money. That's it for the bank. But when I came to the role of a bank officer in a nationalized bank, I came to know that the role of a bank officer in a nationalized bank is totally different from the private ones. Here we have more customer oriented. Like maybe you might be not feeling that, okay, it's not customer oriented as such for providing services. But while I'm sitting there, I can come to know like, okay, this is so and so. There are many cases of customers who are from the lower strata of society. For them to get into the banking or into the financial world or have a habit of savings, that is when our role has come. So in the last few years also, a government bank office has done a lot to at least inculcate those habits into the weaker section of the society, and also to many other areas also, where like there is a knowing part of the customer too, where we actually know the customers' problems. Like I've known customers who in my bank itself, they have left the private bank, or at least they are doing the basic stuff only with the private banks for the transactional. They come to the government bank because there is, once you know the people, because at the first impression when you get to a government bank, it's like, it's a government bank. Okay, it's a different. But once you sit in that seat, the customers also like, once you speak to them, they're like, okay, we are coming back to you only because there is something called as, okay, interaction with you, and that's why we're coming back to you. And secondly, the another thing which I want to say is like in a government bank, you other than this social, there are many social security schemes also, which as a officer or sitting in a bank, I'm the one, like I can be the one who can give the final word to them. Like so many people in our Vasai area also who were below poverty line during this pandemic, the government wanted to reach out to them, provide them the necessary assessment, but they cannot randomly give it to anyone. So in that case, we were the one who actually found out who is the correct beneficiary of that scheme. Like when we get a list of people, we were the one who finally finalized, okay, these are the ones who are going to get the benefit from the government. So when you're sitting in that post, although you feel that, okay, that's a very routine job or something. It's a very challenging, or I wouldn't say challenging, but a very responsible job. You're doing a very responsible job. And now coming to another part where people do feel that, oh, why a government job? And I could easily go and do an interview and get a private job. Why a government job? The first thing when I speak to my friends, what they say is this. When I talk, why are not trying for a government job? अरे वो तो सब पढ़े लिखे लोग के लिए, हम लोग तो नहीं है. Let me just tell you, I was one among them only. I am one among them only who was not somewhere in the front of the class. I used to be somewhere in the middle only, and I used to be in all the activities. I never used to top in my class or something. But it is just a misconception that government bank exam, or be it any government exam, that you need to study somewhat very hard. You have to be very hardworking, or is it only for the top rankers? You just need to give a little bit of efforts daily, maybe like 1 hour also in a day. If you do, it's a great thing. I'll tell you, for at least people from Bombay whose English is pretty good, for them the scoring is pretty easy in all the government exams, especially the ones like IBPS, SSC and all. It's very easy. So that's all I would like to say. People should not get scared or stay away without even trying. At least try once. Try once and get into an exam. Give an attempt. You know how that exam is. You know how easy or tough it will be. Just try once and then you'll come to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Pratyash. Okay, so Pratyash just gave you about the banking exams. Okay, so banking exams Pratyash spoke about is the as a probationary officer and clerical. So now next question you all will have in mind is, so we know about the military services, we know about the banking exams. What is the paper pattern for these exams? What is the paper pattern? Remember, for banking exams, the age limit is 30 years and the exams that you can give is probationary officer and clerical clerk. So two exams are there. There are related to banking exams, other exams like RBI, Reserve Bank of India exams also you can give. In Reserve Bank of India exams, you have grade B officer and office assistant, and then you have the lower level jobs. Okay, so assistant, sorry, and then the lower level jobs. So these are the various banking exams. There are regional rural banks, there are NABARD, EXIM, बहुत सारे government banks होते हैं. Every year you can expect a number of exams from the banking sector. Same way in the military services, okay, and civil services, as well as the miscellaneous exam. Miscellaneous exam is railways, etc. Okay, every year you must understand around 4 to 5 lakh vacancies are coming every year. Notifications are coming every year. 4 to 5 lakh vacancies in central government. It is not less. 4 to 5 lakh is a big number. But we would we'd be very happy. हम लोग बहुत खुश होते हैं कि एक जॉब जहाँ पर एक प्राइवेट सेक्टर कंपनी है, एक जॉब है और इतने सारे लोग लाइन में खड़े हैं, वहां पर हम अटेम्प्ट देंगे, लेकिन गवर्नमेंट जॉब का अटेम्प्ट नहीं देंगे. So that is the sad thing. Again, yes, I do understand that there is a problem of information, but if there is a will, you can also find a way. So we have discussed about the two exams. You all will be thinking कि sir ये exams में होते क्या है? What are the questions which are asked, or what is the syllabus of these exams? So syllabus is in front of you. Syllabus is, you have two papers. One is GS and then second paper you have is aptitude. Okay, so remember GS होता है और aptitude. Mostly हर exam में GS और aptitude होता ही है. Okay, you talk about civil services, you talk about banking, you talk about military, railways, any exam, government of India का कोई exam के लिए तुम्हें GS और aptitude पढ़ना ही है. ठीक है? What is there in GS? In GS we have history, geography, polity, economics is there, environment, science. You'll be thinking, sir, so many subjects. everybody has given all these subjects in 10th standard. 10th standard में सभी लोगों ने ये एग्जाम दिया हुआ है, ठीक है? And the level is also 10th standard. If you type in YouTube, you see the toppers, they are studying 6 to 10 standard NCERT books. So whoever wants to start studying for this exam, they have to study the NCERT books 6 to 10 standard. Okay, then you have secondly aptitude. In aptitude you have comprehension, interpersonal skills, reasoning, decision making, mental ability, basic numeracy, data interpretation. So comprehension, English and all is there. Basic numeracy, maths. Again, many people are having these doubts that, so maths, will it be very difficult? It is clearly written 10 standard maths. Okay, as Pratesh also said, there will be reasoning in which seating arrangement is asked, blood relations will be asked. All these things are there, tables, etc. In maths, you have speed, distance, time and work, average, percentage, ratio, proportion, basics. Okay, so these are the, and if you want guidance, we have it with us. Okay, so these are the basic things that you should understand. This is what is asked in various government exams. There is no rocket science to study for these government exams. Okay, with this you can give various other exams. It's not like only you can give banking exams or you can give military exams. For military, CDS and CAPF, you have GS, aptitude, English. So English is important, GS and aptitude. Many people think कि sir regional exams, अगर regional मुझे कोई regional language आता नहीं है, कोई बोलेगा कि मुझे मराठी नहीं आती. No, not needed. You need to have GS, aptitude, English. That's enough. Okay. And for banking, just now Pratyesh told you, there is aptitude, reasoning, and there is English. Okay. And in the second level, we have GS also. So GS, these two things are there in all the exams. Now, various exams that you can give, NDA, IFS, Agriculture Officer, for various sections, that again, which will be covered once you all fill the form, give a feedback, let us know what your doubts are, or you can WhatsApp me. Please do WhatsApp me, no calls, please. WhatsApp me from the number which I will give you, and your doubts will be cleared. Most of the exams, there is prelims, mains, and interview. The most important exam that we want to speak about, I will be taking some time, is UPSC exam, that is the civil services exam, where you can become IAS, IFS, IPS, etc. This I call it as the mother of all exams, government competitive exams in India. What is an IAS officer? What is an IPS officer? That all I'm going to discuss in next 5 minutes. This exam is conducted by Union Public Service Commission. Okay, so you must remember there is a body, UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, which conducts this exam. And you become IAS, IFS, IPS, IRS, etc. It is a single exam which has prelims, mains, interview. The age limit from 21 years till 32 years. If you want to become an IAS officer, IFS, IPS officer, age limit is, you can give, most of these exams are after your graduation, you can give 21 years till 32 years. Mains, so in prelims, what is there? You have GS and aptitude. Just now I told you what is GS and aptitude. In GS, the most important part is current affairs. For GS, I had told you textbook, NCERT. So if you all are making notes or writing down something, NCERT textbooks are very, very important, 6 to 10 standard. For current affairs, the Hindu newspaper you should watch, or you should read, sorry. Whoever wants to give these exams, remember, the Hindu newspaper is very, very important. So if you find the Hindu newspaper little difficult to start, Hindustan Times से शुरू कर दो, उसके बाद the Hindu newspaper पढ़ो. News channels, Rajya Sabha TV and DD News. News channels देखना जरूरी है. सभी exams के लिए. What I'm talking about is for all the exams. Okay. Then for mains we have whatever was there in your prelims. history, geography, economic, etc. For mains, you have to write answers. In prelims, there is objective type, A, B, C, D ऐसे questions पूछा जाएगा. And in mains, you have to write the answers. Prelims May में होता है, in the month of May. कोरोना के वजह से इस बार अक्टूबर में उसे शिफ्ट कर दिया गया है, नहीं तो जून 2027 का डेट, मई जून के बीच में ये प्रीलिम्स होता है. The notification comes in the month of March, and that is why whoever is there in the group, you will be getting, I will be sending you all the notification of the civil services exam, banking exams, various other exams. Okay, तो जो भी exams आते हैं उसका notification मैं group में डालता रहूँगा. And if I can, I will help you for how to fill the forms, etc. तो coming to the mains के लिए 9 papers हैं, and whatever was there in prelims you have to write the answers. Okay, so you have 4 GS, then you have 1 essay, 2 optional. To know in detail, please fill the form or WhatsApp us and we will get back to you for knowing in detail. So we are only giving you an overview today. Then we have interview. So prelim June में होता है, mains September में, interview December में. And finally, results comes in the month of, you can say March or April. This is how UPSC exams are. Once you crack the UPSC exam, how to or what do you become? You become an IAS officer, IPS, IFS, etc. What is an IAS officer? The top rank जिसे top rank मिलता है वो IAS बन जाता है. Now, who is an IAS? He starts as a he or she starts as a collector of the district. Collector is very, very powerful. You cannot move one stone in a district without the collector's permission. And you can reach up to the post of cabinet secretary. Cabinet secretary is the advisor to the Prime Minister of India. तो अगर तुम लोगों के अंदर वो कॉन्फिडेंस है और कुछ नहीं करना है, एग्जाम भरना है और कोई पैसा पहचान की जरूरत नहीं है, कंपटीशन है, पढ़ाई करना है, गाइडेंस हम देंगे और ये एग्जाम को क्रैक करना है. सो यू कैन बी अ कलेक्टर for the first 100 to 150 rank. Then from 100 to 150, then you have IFS, Indian Foreign Service. If you want to become an ambassador and all, so it is through Indian Foreign Service. Then IPS, 150 to 350. You start as a superintendent of police and you can reach up to commissioner of police. You cannot become a commissioner of police if you are not an IPS officer. So IPS officer जो है वो ही commissioner of police बन सकता है. तो उसके लिए क्या करना है, ये एग्जाम देना है. डज नॉट मैटर फ्रॉम विच बैकग्राउंड, ग्रेजुएट इन एनी फील्ड, यू शुड बी, दे विल नॉट सी योर परसेंटेज. ये एग्जाम में अच्छा मार्क्स लाओ. और एग्जाम में पढ़ना क्या है, पढ़ना है हमें जीएस और एप्टीट्यूड. वी हैव टू स्टडी जीएस एंड एप्टीट्यूड. ओके, सो दिस इज हाउ IPS is. And then you have Indian Revenue Service. You can become income tax officer, income tax in the super class post. And then Indian Railway Service, Indian Audit and Accounts, so on and so forth. There are 19 services. ऐसे करके 19 services हैं. ठीक है, हर साल 800 से लेके 1000 वैकेंसीज आते हैं. 800 to 1000 vacancies every year. Age is 21 to 32, as I have told you. And exam, you have to study GS and aptitude. Focus on current affairs, which is the Hindu newspaper and other news channels, and also NCERT textbooks. Okay, so this is what you have to remember. This is about the civil services exam. So I always ask my students to study for the civil services exam. Why? Civil services exams पढ़ने से आप दूसरे एग्जाम्स की तैयारी ऑटोमेटिकली कर लें. मिलिट्री में मैंने अभी आपको बताया क्या है, जीएस है, एप्टीट्यूड है और इंग्लिश है. बैंकिंग में क्या है, एप्टीट्यूड है. रेलवे, इफ यू आस्क मी अबाउट द रेलवे एंड द मिसलेनियस एग्जाम, रेलवेज में क्या होता है, रेलवेज यू हैव जीएस, एप्टीट्यूड. देन इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो, आईबी, many would want to become IB officials, right? वो एजेंट विनोद और वो सब मूवीज देखे रहेंगे तुम लोगों ने. सो इन दैट इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो एंड ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर देयर. अगेन यू हैव टू गिव द एग्जाम. यू कैन नॉट गेट इनसाइड द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया विदाउट गिविंग द एग्जाम. पहचान से, पैसे दे के और वो ये सब चीजों से नहीं होता है. यू हैव टू pass these exams. Okay, so I have told you about what is the benefit of getting inside these exams. I have told you about the military and the paramilitary forces. I've told you about the civil services, and Pratyesh also told you about the banking exams, and some things about the miscellaneous exams, like you have the IB intelligence. These are all India exams. Okay, this can be given anywhere in India. Okay, and if a person who is from the northeast or south India or west of India or east of India, centers होते हैं तुम्हारे एरिया के, तुम्हारे घर के आसपास, और उस in that area you have to fill the form and give these centers and go and sit for the exams and crack the exams. Okay, then there are state exams also. Every state has got its own exam. For UPPCS, that is for Uttar Pradesh Public Service Commission. For the South India, there is other services. That is for Kerala, you have the Kerala PCS. For Karnataka PCS. For Maharashtra Public Service Commission. Paper pattern is almost the same like the UPSC. So if you are studying for UPSC, you will be able to give exams for many of the government jobs. You'll be thinking why people don't pass these exams. Many will be thinking, okay, the reason is they are not dedicated. Secondly, they do not have proper guidance, and these are the two main reasons where people are not able to crack the exams. Sorry. One thing that you have to remember is, if you want to crack these exams, first you need to have dedication, second, guidance, and if you have these things, you can go ahead and crack these exams. Okay, paper pattern, as I have told you, are almost similar, and that is what you have to focus on. So I've told you about the various paper patterns. Recently now there is Rajasthan PCS which is going to come. They are going to have in Rajasthan a lot of vacancies, 1,000 vacancies for the police sub-inspector. So you have got many. You must have also heard in Uttar Pradesh, around 1,300 police sub-inspectors vacancies were there, and all giving you salaries 45 to 50,000. We look at police inspectors, we look at people moving in red beacons, लाल बत्ती गाड़ी में घूमते हुए नजर आते हैं, and we only look at them. Why can't we be them? Why can't we get inside this? Okay, so what you need, as I have told you, proper mentorship. You need to know, see, resources. Many people feel that you have to study a lot, as Pratyesh also told you. Okay, it is a myth that we have to study a lot. If you are dedicatedly giving 6 to 7 hours in a day for UPSC, you can crack these exams. Okay, 6 to 7 hours, because our human mind is such that we can study for 6 to 7 hours. After that, what you do is you only sit in front of the book and just look at the book. Okay, so, and the second important thing is revision is very, very important. People think कि बहुत सारे books पढ़ने होते हैं. Answer is no. एक book को repeat करते रहो, पढ़ते रहो. That is how you become successful. And for that, in the future, if you can take guidance, please do take guidance, and even I will be very happy to help you out. You should also know what not to study. Mock tests are important, and doubt solving is important. So this is the approach to give government exams. As I was just telling you, many people fill the forms, but only few get selected. It's because a few only are actually studying. Every year, if you see the civil services, around 8 to 10 lakh people IAS का form भरते हैं. 8 to 10 lakh people fill the IAS form. That is the UPSC form, IAS, IFS, IPS, etc. Okay? But in that, only 3 lakh people are actually studying. 2 to 3 lakh. It's not 8 lakh people who are studying. The numbers can be lesser. And competition, जो अच्छी तरीके से dedicatedly पढ़ रहे हैं, वो है 40 से 50,000. So this is how the you can say overview or classification of the student is. And we feel, oh, might be you need some extraordinary efforts. The answer is wrong. Okay, so What you need to study, as I have told you earlier also, focus on English, maths, aptitude, and some knowledge, which we will be teaching you also in the future. You'll be thinking, sir, is it possible? Can I crack these exams? I can tell you, if my students can, I would say anybody can. And I have seen these students, and these are live examples who have cracked the exams. We have Satyajit Yadav, Indian Railway Service currently. His training is going on, and he is getting felicitated by Uddhav Thackeray, Chief Minister. Last year, during the time of Corona, the results came out and his results was there. We have Neha Tiwari. She has passed the CDS exam. Currently, she's also pursuing for her UPSC. Mahesh Gaikwad, he is the revenue officer currently working in Dhule district of Maharashtra. Pratish Thomas, who just spoke to you. Linessa Disa, she is SBI Bank PO. She is with the SBI Bank. Naveen Singh, Victor D'Souza, he has passed the UPSC, CDS, Jahara and Nikhil, who are the Intelligence Bureau officers. So we have got the results. The reason to show you all the results are, they are, if you would have seen them earlier, they were not students who had come from a separate or different planet. One of us, one of you, took a pledge that they want to crack the exam, took confidence, started studying for it, and they got results. So these were the various exams. So what I told you is, I told you about why to give the government jobs. I divided it into 4: military, civil services, banking, and the miscellaneous. In short period, I can't give it to you in detail, but yes, you can fill the form, Google form on the chat, in the chat box. I'll be displaying my number in few minutes, and then you can also WhatsApp me. Okay, so I think most of the doubts are, see, the major reason why people don't give is there is lack of information. And I would say Bombay Catholic Sabha has put up a great effort on getting this webinar to you, so that that important part, information, that should not be a hurdle. Now the ball is in your court. You have to decide and go for it. I've given you all the benefits. I've told you how you can do it, and also I've showed you who are the people, the results that you can also be one of them. Okay, thanks a lot for patiently listening.
So thank you, Ryan, for your insights and giving us the overview of all the possible careers that are available in the government setup at the center, state, and even local level. So I now open the forum to ask questions. So I was just looking at the chat box. If there is any question, if anyone wants to even unmute and probably give a question to Ryan, he or she is welcome to do so right now. Just state your name, and then you can keep your question very short.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Rosalie.
So, sir, my question is for Mr. Ryan Pinto. So, I just wanted to ask, are there any chances to get a government job at the age of 40?
No, at the age of 40, it's difficult. MPSC exam or the state exam, the maximum age is 38.
38.
38. But if for SC, ST, it goes up to 41, 42. But for open category, it is 38. Most of the jobs are 38 for the state level.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Sir, I'm an engineering student, and I'm interested in science field. So, could I get any government job in that field?
Yes, there are so many technical fields which are there, like in the army also, we have so many openings for engineering students for airport authority. Recently for army, sorry, for Air Force, one government opening has come, Air Force for engineering. Then we have for Airport Authority of India. There are many. So if you can WhatsApp me, and if you are there in the group, I will be putting up the notification of these jobs in the group.
Hello, sir. My name is Jacinta.
Yes.
I want to ask that after having completed NCC and having acquired C certificate, what are the jobs that one can get?
Yes, for Indian Navy, Air Force, and Army. What's the age?
22.
22. Yes, you can. They have got direct entry. So if you fill the form, direct entry means you have to give SSB, Service Selection Board. Your interview will be there, and you'll have to face the interview. You don't have to give the exam. You have direct interview for the NCC students. Currently, again in Air Force, there is a NCC C certificate. There is, I think, for the Air Force, there is this notification which is there going on, which has come.
Good evening, Mr. Ryan. So I have this one small question. So are there any marketing jobs in government sector? And if yes, then what exactly in marketing?
No marketing jobs, because government is a non-profit organization, so there is no marketing job. But yes, in banking sector, you can market if you become a manager, like what Pratyash was saying. They might also put you in. They have their marketing team as for the sale of their current accounts and all those things. You can get inside that. You will have to
Okay,
give a
thank
bank exam. There is nothing called as a particular marketing exam. You'll have to give the normal. You'll have to give history, geography, etc., aptitude and all. Get inside the bank, and then they will be putting you in the marketing section.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Samar Demaro. I just
Yes,
wanted to
Samar.
ask. Yes, I just wanted to ask about this common entrance test. Like it's being introduced. So will it affect the current exams which are going? Like
No.
this banking?
See, what is going to happen, no, Samar? Where so many different exams were there. No? I was telling you about staff selection commission, this, that, all those railways exam. What they will do is they will keep a common entrance test, and whoever passes, okay, whoever passes these exams, then they will be sending to the mains. That will be taken by, say, for example, we have got 100 students who have passed. I'm just giving an example. 20 students who are interested in railway, so they will have a separate railway exam, means. So the prelims part is common, but then means you'll have to give of that particular railway, or you can say staff selection commission. Currently now EPFO exam is come for the assistant commissioner for the EPFO. So like you have a how you can say, you have a common exam, and then you go for different fields whichever you have opted for. It is that way. So that's not going to be any different.
Thank you.
All right, Ryan, I had one question. This is Anisito. So, exams are important for each and every government job?
Yes.
There's no
yes.
exceptions?
No exceptions.
Okay.
Ryan, I'm Xavier speaking.
Yes.
I had one query that are there any media related jobs, as I am from a BMM background?
Yes,
Mass media.
yes, same. See, you will have to give the exam, get into the various organization. According to your skills, they will place you. Okay.
Hello, sir. Yeah.
Yes.
I had a question about the banking exams, the current affairs thingy. From where can I get information, like prepare myself? How can I prepare myself for the current affairs in the mains banking?
See, for current affairs, now what I do is I teach my students. Okay. So I teach them complete GS. I teach them like complete GS with the current affairs, so that they are capable or able to give many government exams, that is including the banking and the RBI, etc. Okay, so there is no one particular source where I can tell you that okay, from here the current affairs is coming. Current affairs is whatever is there going on around you. So the best source is the Hindu. Now the Hindu is itself very vast, and it's a newspaper. Okay, so you do GS side by side and do aptitude, and you can give these exams. So current affairs will not be a problem for you.
Ryan
Okay,
sir,
thank you.
Joseph here.
Yes, yes.
Joseph here. Hello,
Yes.
Joseph here. My age is 34, and I want to apply for any government job.
Which state are you from?
I am from Maharashtra, Pune.
Pune. So MPSC exam you can give. It is till 38 years.
Till 38 years. Apart from
Till
that,
30. No, apart from that, you'll not be able to give any central government. MPSC exam you can give.
only MPSC.
MPSC, yes. MPSC is a good job. You have deputy collector, VYSP, deputy superintendent of police, STI, sales tax inspector. All these exams, all these posts are
Okay.
there.
How many sales taxes in MPSC? Hello.
How many?
Sales tax inspector is there and deputy collector.
Collector, DYSP, etc.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, fine. Sir. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Ryan, I want this is Anisito. Again, I wanted to ask one more question. I'm 28 years old. So, what jobs are available in
All
government?
the
I
jobs
know
which
there
I
are
just
jobs
spoke
also.
about, all the jobs except the military, you can go for it.
Okay, except the any
go,
other
yes.
job. Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Delicia.
Yes.
I had a question is that for a child who has a person who has just finished his HSC, so how should they be guided then?
Yes. So a child or a
should we be
student who has finished HSC, they should be thinking about the UPSC exam because they've got 3 years nicely to study for it. Okay. So what you can do is means do the graduation simultaneously, and if say for example now the child you're talking about is he or she commerce, arts, science student? Commerce. Okay, so they can continue the study with the commerce. You'll have to join classes or an institute, okay, because this can't be done alone. So you'll have to do that every
So
day.
when would be a right time
After
for them
12th
to
standard.
join?
After 12th
So-
standard.
So they can join as of now, you're saying then?
Yes, yes,
Because they've
yes.
just finished 12th.
Yes, after 12th standard, 2 hours they will be giving in every day for the classes, and then they can study their normal the studies. Simultaneously, their graduation will get over, and they'll be all ready to give the government exams, that is UPSC exam.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, Ryan sir.
Yes.
Yes, I'm Gwinnett speaking here.
Yes. Yes.
So I wanted to know, I am currently in my second year of doing research on business analytics.
Mhm.
So is there any government job related in this field?
See, whatever you're doing, even if you are doing engineering, research, anything, when you want to enter a government job, there is no specialty asked. Okay, but once you enter, you crack these exams. Once you enter, according to your skill set, they will be giving you the placement or the posts. Got it? So, like even someone was asking me about marketing and all, they will not give you a marketing job, or they will not give you a research job. See, one side you are going to become an IAS officer who's going to run the whole country. Why would you think about this research and analytics? Okay, so yes, you can use that skill when you become a collector. When you become a cabinet secretary, you can tell Narendra Modi, see sir, I've done some research, this is how I've used my graduation knowledge, and I've brought this data for you. That is it. You don't have to think about using this in search for these jobs like you search in private sector. So say for example, you become a police inspector, you will not use these research jobs. Okay, but police inspector is very, very powerful. Any engineer or any other person would want to become a police inspector. Okay, so this is how you have to think about these government jobs.
Yes.
Sir, actually,
Thank
I
you.
have a question for you. I just
Yes.
wanted to ask you that suppose if we are preparing for the UPSC exam, so without going for coaching or we are going to the coaching institute, can we clear this exam by doing self studies?
See, it is a little difficult to crack the exam by self-study. You have to understand competitive exam. This is a competitive exam and there is competition. You're from the Northeast, right, Alfred?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you must be knowing football and how it works. Okay, in football, it's a competitive game. There is a need for a coach who will train you every day. If you want to go to that level to play for your state, he or she will coach you and guide you and see to it that every day the training is happening, your exercises are proper. If there are any injuries, what you should be doing. The same work is done by a guide or a coach or a trainer for competitive exams. Okay, these are competitive exams. There is an element of competition here. These are not exams like your graduation, you get one degree and it is done. So you need guidance. Guidance is compulsory. Otherwise, what will happen is after 1, 2, 3 months you start and then you will find that you're not landing up anywhere. You sit in example I'll give you. You take a textbook and you sit and you just read one chapter, and you'll think now how this chapter will come in the exam. So the coach will tell you, the guide, see, this is how the questions are. I'll give you an example. Say for example, you're reading the Mughal Empire. You're reading about the Mughals, okay, and you're reading everything, but you do not know now how the questions will come. The coach will tell you, okay, so question has been asked on Akbar and on Akbar's achievements. Question has been asked on some monuments. So this is how the guide helps you. Otherwise, it will take a lot of time and it will become very difficult. Okay, Alfred?
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, my question is like I'm studying in class 12 and I'm interested to work in a nationalized bank like RBI and SBI. So, sir, how can I study further on?
Yeah, start studying aptitude GS. And as I have told you, if you want to, you can take coaching or else start at home only. But coaching will be a much better option.
And sir, as soon as I finish my graduation, then is the time when the competitive exams start, like after BCom and all.
After your graduation, see, the day you have the degree, what happens is once you finish your graduation, when you give these exams, you fill the form. Okay, they will ask your graduation degree. So when you have the degree, you can give the exams, and then since you have been studying so many years, 12, 13, 14, sorry, 13, 14, 15. So you'll be all ready, give the aptitude test, GS, do nicely, and crack the exams.
Thank you, sir.
All round the year, there are exams. Now, I had told you in month of March, RBI exam came. Now there is a Air Force notification. Then there is going to be EPFO, Provident Fund Assistant Commissioner exam is going to come. So all throughout the year, there are various exams. Good thing is, see, during the time of Corona, government knows that there is a job, that jobs need to be created. Private sector does not have the money to create the jobs. There is this opportunity that government will put in money and get in more public sector jobs. So I think you should be taking the plunge or going for it.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
This is Joanna here. I just completed my graduation, so I just wanted to ask if I start studying for the banking exam now, so when can I exactly apply for it?
6 months. In 6 months. See, you can apply it now also, but you'll be ready in 6-7 months.
Okay. And will be there any negative markings?
Negative markings are there, all the government exams. So it doesn't matter. You know the right answer, you touch it, you do the means you tick it. Why you have to worry about the negative markings? It is to keep the not serious students away. We always think negative markings means, oh, it is bad. Just imagine if there are, if say for example you and me, we both are giving the exam. I have not studied. I do some like how we take do some on luck, and I tick, and you have studied and you're ticking. It is unfair if I am getting the same marks like you know. So
Yes.
so that I have studied, I have worked hard, I tick on those things which I'm sure of. That is why these negative marks are not to scare anyone.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hi.
So,
Hello.
Ethan.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening, sir. Ethan here.
Yes.
So I had a question. By any chance, is the Merchant Navy a part of any government jobs?
No,
Is
no,
it
no.
related?
Merchant Navy is private. Indian Navy
Private.
is government.
Okay. And in case of Indian Navy, what are the like now currently I am in the 12th standard. I have taken arts with math. So
Yeah.
how do I
So
go about?
see, two places you can join the Indian Navy. One is after your 12th standard. Second is after your graduation. After your 12th standard, since you have taken arts, I would suggest don't give. Okay, because the exam is little difficult. There you have proper hardcore science and all will be asked. But after your graduation, Indian Navy exams are there, and in that history, geography, the art subjects are coming, and yes, English will be there, and some aptitude. So you can go for Indian Navy after your graduation.
So according to you, like I have taken arts with math. Is it good or bad in the sense?
It's okay. You can do it with maths also, not a problem. Not an issue.
Okay.
Okay, see, as for example, now if you have taken arts, with what mostly students do is they take history or arts, etc. If they join a class or if they have a guidance, what happens is the other subjects the class takes care of. Okay, so if you join me, then I will be taking care of history, geography, economics, sociology, etc. And you can focus on your maths, which is a part of your exams.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hi there. Good evening.
Hello, sir. I'm
Oh,
Cynthia.
Yes, Cynthia.
Sir, how to apply for the exams?
Notification comes. After the notification, you have to go to the online and then to the respective websites, and you can fill the form in that notification. And as I have told you, I have
Is
made
there any
groups also
common?
where I will send you all the notification.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello, Ryan, sir.
Yes.
Valencia here.
Yes.
Recently I'm doing a teacher course. So if I want to be a government teacher, what I have to do? What
Yes.
exam?
See now, yes, two methods. Okay. One, you'll have to give TET. Okay, go for B.Ed and then give a TET exam. Secondly, again, exams are there. Okay, so you'll get in good government institutes or government schools like we have these Nehru Vidyalayas. Okay, Jawaharlal Nehru Vidyalayas is there, and then you have Delhi Public School and all these famous ones, and you get good salary. Okay, 45,000-50,000 salary are there. Or if you're giving UPSC, okay, in UPSC there is optional. What mostly students do is, say for example, I am MA in history. I have taken UPSC. I'm doing UPSC. I've taken optional history. I do MA also. I've done MA also. I give a NET exam, National Eligibility Test, NET, NET. Okay. Now this NET exam, you can become a professor. From the NET exam, you can become a professor, and the professor salary is assistant professor is 45 to 60,000, and professor gets around 1.5 lakh to 2 lakhs. So MA, finishing your MA, do NET, and NET, then go for professor.
Yeah, but recently I'm doing D.Ed course. I will end my first year. Now I will start the second year from the July.
For government, you'll have to then give TET. Teacher eligibility
Thank
test. Yes.
Yeah,
Hi,
Ro-
Rahil. This is Anisha here. And my question is, even I'm in teaching, like soft skills trainer, and I teach for college students basically. But I have not done any kind of entrance exam for teaching. I have done my BMS in management studies, my MCOM in again in management studies. Yeah, yeah. Plus, I have experience for teaching in college basically as a trainer and a
Trainer.
teacher. Yeah.
So see, again, I would say if you would have given NET and all these, after finishing your MCOM, you would have got a lot of, preference, and you can demand a lot of salary, because when whoever passes NET and all, they have got this advantage. There is something called as NET, and then there is JRF. So all these are after your masters. Since you have done your masters, should do little. You should be seeing for management studies if there is any NET exam which is coming up for the management studies. So if you do that, if you give that, and it has all these things only about the management studies. They will be asking questions, and then something on pedagogy, etc. Little bit of aptitude, and then you can get good posts.
Because I did too, I'm also a working professional. So I used to like freelance doing all these things. So
Yeah, so
apart
in
from
freelance, that is why you must be noticing that not much salary is offered.
yeah,
Yeah,
actually.
so you'll have to give the net. For nets, you actually become you become a assistant professor and then a coach.
So,
Okay.
Hello.
Anisha, 1 minute, 1 minute. Let me complete with Anisha. Anisha, you need to, look at how you can pursue your PhD. Okay, if you want to get into the teaching profession. So
Yeah.
all this, you have to begin. If you are beginning with even assistant professor, you will get a good university breakthrough if you are having a doctorate. So against this PAT, NET, you have to start pursuing that career, please. Okay, start focusing. Yeah, every
Yes.
university has got these PhD seats. You are already a master, and in 2-3 years you can get your PhD done. But once you get a PhD, with the hours you have put in the corporate, that can be added, and you will grow faster.
Oh yeah. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
So the whole point is very nicely put by Lawrence sir. We should be aiming high. Should not be happy with like after masters then stop. Many a times what students do is after graduation, post graduation, after post graduation they stop. You have to aim high. You have to think something better. Can be civil services, can be PhD. Do that. You'll have a lot of weight in the market.
Yeah. So for PhD, basically, I have one more question. I did my research on PhD in management, and the question what I have is there is Mumbai University who provides PhD. There are deemed to be universities who also provides PhD, and there is international certification like from abroad or from UAE or New York, all these things which are online PhD. So Lawrence, my question is having an international certification. Lawrence?
Yeah,
Yeah.
continue.
So my question is, having an online certification in PhD, would that be more beneficial than the Indian PhD?
So first point is that your Indian PhD carries a lot of weight. Even in the universities, there is ranking. So international, see, you are going to pursue your career here. You're not going to go to Europe. So here there is more acceptability of PhDs, which are from our local universities. PhD alone will not be enough. You have to write a lot of research papers. You should have at least 10, 12. The more research papers you have, the more diversified you are, the more better options you would be having. Okay. And you can get in touch with me generally, because there are others also. I will key in my number. Yeah.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I can
I'll
help
contact
you.
you.
Hi,
Thank
Lawrence.
you.
This is Mary here. I wanted to just clarify on the age criteria for applying for any of these government, jobs, because I'm working at the moment and I'm the age criteria.
Yes, age criteria for UPSC is 32, for banking is 30, for state exams is 38.
So I'm 47, so there will not be any scope for me to
No,
apply for any of
no.
them.
No.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Good evening.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I'm
Good evening,
Francina
sir.
Anthony here. Actually,
Yes,
I'm
Francine.
currently in the final year of my MBA in finance. So I needed to know what will be the upcoming banking exams or like RBI, LIC stuff, which will help me to apply.
You are in the final year. You have finished
Yes,
your
MBA
graduation,
in finance. Yes, I finished my graduation. It was in
and then
BS.
you have done your MBA. Oh, yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Currently there is this RRB, Regional Rural Bank exam, which has come up. RRB
Okay.
exam which has come up, and yes, you can just type RRB exams, and there is a post for scale 1 officer and management. All these posts are there, so you can just see. You can
No, I
just
told
Google
him
and
खाना खाया क्या? है दाल भाजी है. So ये
I'll
फिर
be
हमने अभी नहीं
placed
खाया,
in
बाद में खाएगा.
which sector?
बाद
Matlab, will it be the general because I stay in Pune, so I will be in Pune sector or a more
it
rural
depends
sector?
on the board.
Okay. And apart from
Mostly
RRB,
for the girls, they will give near the home only. But yes, you'll have to check. The board will decide.
okay. And apart from RRB, like LIC and LIC.
They will come. They will come. At the moment, it is not there.
Okay, matlab they are upcoming, right?
Upcoming, yes. EPFO is coming. Assistant Provident Fund Commissioner. Assistant Commissioner.
So I'll be eligible.
Yeah. Yes. You'll be eligible.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Hi, sir. Merlin here.
Merlin, 1 minute. So my request is that we have Ryan's number. Actually, it's 9 a.m. We had said 9 p.m. We had said that we would wind up. So there are a lot of other people on this. My request is that you can WhatsApp Ryan. He has shared his number. Okay, for all your individual details. I think we have covered most of the queries which have come. So I would now request, since it's 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. and I would believe that we should come to an end for this webinar. We thank you for participating. I request Alexio Fernandez, who is also one of the co-administrators of this program, to give us the vote of thanks. And friends, I am also keying my number. Ryan has done it. We also at Bombay Catholic Sabha keep doing other counseling sessions for people for private jobs also. This is for government job. So we will be hand-holding you all, and the process of registration for all our programs will be the same. And thank you for joining. I now request Alexio to do the needful.
Good evening, one and all. In the words of John F. Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Keeping his words of wisdom in mind, the Bombay Catholic Sabha Training and Youth Forum, led by VP Lawrence Fernandez, has done excellent work by organizing this webinar. Thank you, Lawrence and the team. Then thank you, President of Rafael D'Souza and our General Secretary Vinod Narona for all the assistance and support given to this team in organizing this webinar. Father Ivan D'Souza stressed on values, service the society, serve the society, explaining the values that we stand for, reach for the people, stand with the right people, and values of the right ideas. Thank you, Father Ivan D'Souza. Father Anthony J. Fernandez, sharing his experience with the youth and the 3 challenges what he spoke about: loneliness, balance between the shepherd and God, ultimate goal. Thank you, Father Anthony. Then Pratesh Thomas spoke on banking exams, the pattern of IBPS, SBI, RBI and LIC, etc. Thank you, Thomas. Then coming to Ryan Pinto, he has touched on civil services, why government services, syllabus and the pattern of exam papers. He has tremendous knowledge in this field. What I have just seen is just a trailer. Picture abhi baki hai mere dost. Last but not the least, I'd like to thank each one of you for attending this webinar. I truly believe that everyone will definitely take something home from this because what they said today. Now, can I request everyone to unmute and join me applauding yourselves for being a part of this program. 1, 2, 3. God bless and all the best.
Thank you. We'll meet again. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Ryan.